trying to figure out asphalt and 1.5 miles and aerodynamics. It's been a tough year for him. So to see what he's doing tonight has got to be such an uplifting experience for him. He's shot in the arm, something he's used to doing, racing dirt. And go get him, Stewart.
You know, we always talk about Daytona Talladega being an opportunity race. Maybe this is an opportunity race for a Stewart Friesen or a Bobby Pierce or Chris Windom. One of these guys that we don't know that much about. It could be their night.
Yeah, you know, when you're racing on asphalt, it's just a matter of blowing the dust off the track and you're ready to go. But when you go dirt track racing, it is a science to get this surface exactly right. And that's what they're doing at Eldora. Welcome back to the setup, everybody. You can feel the excitement from Eldora as some of the best dirt track racers in the world take the Camping World Truck Series back to the roots of racing on a weeknight on a dirt track. Guys, we've seen a few of these before. What do you expect, Phil?
Well, I think Christopher Bell is the guy that's the odds-on favorite. He's the guy that's finished first and second here in his 2 previous starts. His year is going strong, 3 wins already. I think Christopher Bell is going to get win number 4 tonight at Eldora.
Todd, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe. I think this is his first Truck Series win. He's in a backup truck, but the truck's running really well, but he's in his element. And we know how much momentum means in this sport, and this kid's on a roll, running good every week. So I think I'm going with Chase.
Yeah, you know, I think Matt Crafton's going to break the streak tonight. Starting on the front row, he's due for a win and certainly can handle that. Well, after a week off, the Truck Series returns to action for a midweek showdown at Eldora. Let's send it to Vince Welch, Michael Waltrip, and Kevin Harvick.
Thanks a lot, John. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on dirt. One of America's iconic racetracks. Yes, this is Eldora. His brother Austin captured the inaugural truck race here. Now it's Ty Dillon, the only Cup driver in the field, looking to add his name to the Eldora winners list. Bobby Pierce only makes occasional visits to the Truck Series, but he is one fine ace on the dirt. 2 years ago, he was runner-up here. Tonight, he has victory in sight. Points leader Johnny Sauter says he's an asphalt guy. Dirt is outside his comfort zone, but Sauter has a championship lead to protect, and he's ready. The biggest threat to Sauter's championship is Christopher Bell. Bell already has 3 wins this season. He's a former Eldora winner. He's at home on the dirt, and he says Eldora is his favorite racetrack. Great to have you with us tonight on a beautiful night, along with Michael Waltrip and Kevin Harvick. I'm Vince Welch. This is the 5th time we've raced the trucks at Eldora, and when you look at the previous winners, it is an esteemed list. How about it? Beginning with the first race here at Eldora, Austin Dillon was the winner, Bubba Wallace winning in 2014, and then Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson. Pretty impressive, Kevin.
It is pretty impressive, and I think when you look at our front row, it's pretty impressive how different they are from the challenges that we have from a dirt racer to an asphalt racer. But when you have Matt Crafton and Stewart Friesen on the front row, they both have the same agenda tonight, and that is to win a golden shovel here at Eldora.
Yeah, and the challenges are great. Guys like Stewart Friesen there with his kids. Johnny Sauter, our point leader, comes in here with a victory. He's playoff bound. He knows it. He wants to build on that playoff lead. He wants to make sure he does something special here on the dirt. And it didn't start out too well for Sauter. Sauter in practice had a spin. His trucks tore up. The team patched it back together. I asked crew chief Joe Shear Jr., have you got it all straight? He said, I don't know and I don't care, because when the checkered flag falls this evening, it won't be straight for sure. They'll be banging off the walls. And Christopher Bell, 3 wins this year. You talked about it, Vince. This is a big challenge to Sauter's point championship. Bell's fast on the dirt. He's fast everywhere. He's going to be good tonight. And I like to look at Chase Briscoe. Briscoe, another guy with action in practice that he didn't need to see, into the outside wall. Check this out. Very rarely do you see a single truck flip. That's what nearly happened to Briscoe. Watch, outside wall, thing tears up the fence, gets almost over on its roof. He was able to get it back on his wheels and back to the garage, but unfortunately, to a backup truck they will go. This is going to hurt his chances, but he will be a challenger for sure.
Well, Briscoe's got a lot of dirt experience, and there's some others that we might even call dirt ringers, including Friesen, well known in the dirt racing community, but maybe not so much here to the NASCAR world.
Well, I think when you look at Friesen, he's definitely got the experience to go out and win this race tonight, and he's definitely got a great spot to start.
Man, a great mix of drivers, including 17 first-timers here at Eldora. It's going to be fun tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask at this time that you please rise and remove your hats as St. Henry American Legion Post 648 presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Kyle Froman from Motor Racing Outreach offers today's invocation.
Let's pray together. God, we thank you for this absolutely stunning evening, for an opportunity to be filled again with the breath of life, to come together and celebrate our unique passions together. We pause tonight to recognize your presence with us in this oval. As we head into the evening, we look to you, seeking wisdom, seeking strength, seeking joy, and seeking security for each and every competitor that'll take to the track, each crew member that's working tonight, and each one of us spectating throughout the evening. God, we'd be amiss to not recognize that there's brave men and women defending the freedom we have to be here tonight and the freedom we have to talk to you. We ask that your presence would be the same to each and every one of them. As we head through this evening, we pray that what we do tonight would be a fitting reflection of your goodness to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from St. Henry High School, the St. Henry Band.
Great crowd on hand, getting ready for a special race at a special place. The trucks on the dirt at Eldora.
How fast must I go to win? What price must I pay for trying? The faster you go, the tougher it is. This is the challenge of competition.
Advantage 3 wide, so number 3 spot.
How much faster could they go?
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is racing at Eldora Speedway. Opened in 1954, the Mecca for dirt track racing. Great crowd on hand, an absolutely perfect evening. 32 trucks getting ready to line up with 32 drivers hoping to take home that trophy at the end of the night, the Golden Shovel. With Michael Waltrip and Kevin Harvick, I'm Vince Welch, Chris Neville, Kenny Wallace, and Hermie Sadler roaming the pits.
With Vince in 4 previous trips to Eldora, Matt Crafton has had a simple philosophy. Get in, get a top 10, and go home. He's done that to perfection. 4 top 10s in 4 starts. But he has not won a race in this series in over a year. What did he do to improve his chances? He bought a dirt modified. He's been racing a lot of dirt races. He hopes that experience will come into play to help him win tonight at Eldora. Kenny Wallace?
Hermie, Noah Grayson, Ryan Truex have 0 laps in dirt racing. Actually, Noah Grayson, his very first time on the dirt track was in his heat race. And that might be good, and here's why. In the dirt racing terms, all the dirt races across the United States, they say, let her eat, put it on the high side. You cannot do that in these trucks. 800 horsepower, no tires, no suspension like the local dirt track. it might be an advantage to take it easy in this race, especially at the start. It's going to be wild at the end. Chris Neville.
Well, when you think about the commitment it takes to run in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, by the time you get to midseason, a midweek break is much needed. But Ty Dillon, he says dirt is good for the soul. He grew up racing the dirt tracks, and he said if he wants a stress relief, this is where he wants to be. He won his qualifying race earlier tonight. He said the truck was a little tight in the center, but really got off the corner well. He thinks this track is going to loosen up, and if it does, he thinks he is the truck that's going to get him to victory lane like his brother in 2013. Vince?
Certainly has been an impressive day so far for Ty Dillon. Wouldn't be surprised if he's competing for it at the end. You know, it's interesting, the different dynamic, the different handling circumstances and characteristics of the trucks that we've seen and how the track has changed. Check out this. We're going to show you a split screen here. Christopher Bell on your left, Bobby Pierce on the right, and look at the difference in the way these guys are working the wheels.
Yeah, I think when you look at Christopher Bell, you see him turn the truck to the left, and then when he hits the throttle, he starts turning it back to the right. And I think when you see Bobby Pierce go into the corner here, he's going to go into the corner, he's going to turn to the left, oh, a lot left, and then it just takes longer for him to get the truck to rotate. So that's really what you want. You want to be able to drive the truck straight into the corner. When you tip into the gas, that's a Tony Stewart term, by the way. Tip into the gas. I figured since we were at Eldora, you tip into the gas, you want that truck to rotate and turn up off the corner.
And you know, what's interesting about this, Vince, is you can see all kinds of different driving styles. But obviously, Pierce's truck isn't handling like he wants it to. Too much steering to the left. You want to hold the wheel straight on entry like you see Bell doing, Kevin so eloquently alluded to. But what I also love, Pierce made that truck better. They got better and better all night long, and in his last chance qualifier, I think he got it dialed in. We're going to have some great views from inside of those trucks, along with some special looks from the 29 truck of Chase Briscoe as well.
You know, we saw some interesting racing in the qualifying races, and they were just 6 or 7 trucks out there on the track at a time. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to have 32 out there, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Well, the Grand Marshal for the race tonight is a legend, Jack Hewitt. He won 43 times here at Eldora.
Race fans, we have one more thing to do before we get ready to rock and roll. And to bring you the command, we've got the charismatic, the colorful, the prolific Mr. Jack Hewitt.
Gentlemen, drivers, start your engine.
It's a full house. The fans are ready. The drivers are ready. We're ready. The Dirt Derby from Eldora next. How about this view? The half-mile Eldora Speedway. Some say it's out in the middle of nowhere, but when you pull up to Eldora, you know you are there. You have arrived. Let's take a look at the Camping World track description, Michael.
Well, it's a half mile. The turns are banked 24 degrees. That means a lot of speed, Vince, through these corners. The straightaways are even banked. It's clay and dirt. It's built in 1954, and there's been some amazing action here ever since.
The Camping World race analysis.
Well, this is a little bit different race. We have 3 stages of 40, 50, 60 laps for a total of 150 laps and 75 miles. This is the 5th race here at Eldora, and last year we had Kyle Larson win this race.
And there wasn't a straight fender on that truck. And I don't expect it to be any different tonight either.
There won't be any straight fenders on any of them. I don't expect tonight. As you see our front row, Stuart Friesen on pole. First time that he's won pole in a Camping World Truck Series race. Matt Crafton alongside. Christopher Bell, 3-time winner.
Gralla was impressive. Yep. John Hunter Nemechek's taking to the dirt well. Ryan Truex with no dirt racing experience up in the top 10.
And we got Grant Enfinger and Chase Briscoe. Justin Haley and Johnny Sauter in row 7.
Rico Abreu, 3rd here last year, making his first start of the season. Chris Windham, USAC champion, making his first ever Truck Series start. Max Johnston there, he's all the way from Australia. And Ken Schrader, a fan favorite.
Bobby Pierce with some damage on his truck. They got it fixed. He thinks he's got it tuned up where he can go contend this evening. Corbin Forrester in the 0 truck, back in position 30.
32 trucks rolling and ready to start. And we'll get one more report from pit road, beginning with Chris Neville.
Well, Vince, we didn't see a lot of passing in the qualifying races, but Rick Wren's driver did a lot of passing in the last chance qualifier. Is that going to give your driver a little bit of advantage here early?
Yeah, I think so, because as you noticed, as you said in the heat races, nobody could really pass anybody. So we needed to win that last chance race, so we kind of made some adjustments to try to be able to run the bottom and the top. And with him giving me that feedback, we adjusted a little bit more, because we're going to start almost in the back here. So he's got a lot of people to pass, so I think it helps us that we got to do that, and we've tried to tune in for it. I said, give me 40 more laps of testing here, and we'll try to tune on her one more time.
Herbie?
Well, Rudy Fugle is the crew chief for Christopher Bell, but you told us yesterday that for every other race on the circuit, you're going to call the shots, but you're relying on your driver to be the crew chief this weekend. What kind of job has he done so far?
Yeah, he's done good. He's took care of his truck. We have a really good race team. You know, it's a really good prepared truck. Christopher's done a great job. He's helped us decide where he wants the truck to be, and then we just adjust to it. So starting up front, hopefully stay up there and have a good race and keep this Toyota, get a victory for it.
Kenny Wallace?
Thanks, Hermie. Down here in turns 1 and 2, let's take a look at the dirt track. It's really moist down here. That means there's going to be a lot of grip. At the start of this race, look for the whole field to be down here trying to make a pass.
Thank you, Kenny. We'll look forward to that as the trucks take their 4-wide alignment, and salute to the fans. And it's great to see all the fans with their phones out taking pictures of this terrific scene here at Eldora tonight. An absolutely beautiful night and a great crowd here at Eldora to witness this race. The 5th time the trucks have raced here at Eldora.
How about this crowd, Vince? Not only is it a packed house, they're on their feet, they're cheering. When Bobby Pierce won that last chance qualifier, they were on their feet. They love their dirt racers, and I think that's what makes this race so special. It pits the dirt guys against the pavement guys, and Bubba Wallace, as a pavement guy, got the victory, but predominantly the dirt regulars have prevailed.
Yeah, and I'd say the one thing that I love coming to Eldora, every time I've been here, it's been for the Prelude to the Dream or the truck race. And both times I've been here, you see a lot of dirt fans, and you see a lot of T-shirts that have Jimmy Johnson and myself,
Kevin Harvick,
and different drivers from what we do on the weekend.
They're looking for a Michael Waltrip.
And we've got some cool onboards. This first one is obviously with Bobby Pierce. He'll give us some great action coming through the field, so there'll be a lot of movement with those hands.
Let's hop on board with Austin Cindric. He's starting in the 17th position, and not only do we have this camera looking at him, but look at this. 17th position with a bumper cam. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Next one we've got is Chase Briscoe with the Ford camera inside, and he's got the coolest camera on top of his helmet.
The visor cam, take a look at that.
Man, that's cool. That is so awesome.
And look at all that traffic he's going to have to fight through, and you know he's going to be heading that way. One of the guys he'll be trying to chase down is 4th place starter Christopher Bell, holding a smooth wheel all day long, a really fast truck. The favorite to win this race, he's going to roll from 4th position with his Toyota onboard camera.
The first stage is 40 laps. Leading us to green will be Stuart Friesen, who was the fastest qualifier, also won his qualifying race. He'll start on the outside. 2-time series champion Matt Crafton in that bright yellow machine will start on the inside. 32 trucks. The Dirt Derby at Eldora is green. Everybody successfully through 1 and 2, down the backstretch, and through 3 and 4. Stuart Friesen leads the first lap, and look at that view. How do you possibly find your way with that window?
So clear high by 1, by half coming outside here. Outside the 21, then you're clear up.
Watch him shifting gears right there. In that traffic early in the race, they will go to lower gear to 3rd to try to make some ground. Briscoe's not only having to fight the steering wheel, trying to see where he's going, but also shift gears as well.
Well, he's got a lot of mud on the front window, and that's what happens when they water this track. And they'll be able to tear that tear off when we get to, well, if they choose to pit when we get to the end of the first 40 laps.
How about Kenny Wallace nailing it? They'll be 3 and 4 wide on the start trying to make passes. That's how this race started exactly. And now guys are starting to drift up to the top against the cushion right out next to the wall.
The thing that I'm noticing the most, that I would be the most worried about, are the grills on these trucks. And as much mud as there is in front, there's a lot of stuff on the front of these trucks already. A lot of mud. Not stuff, that's mud.
As you look at Briscoe trying to make his way up through, currently running 11th in that 29. How about the front of those trucks and the grill? You're starting to see some of that, all that dirt. And there's the 63 of Bobby Pierce that has come to a stop, and the yellow is out.
Spin it. When I get here. Hold up. Keep on, come on.
That's Pierce's second spin of the day. A lot of damage when he spun in his heat race. Not any damage that time, but he's going to go a lap down.
A little bit of right front damage. You're going to have to look at that rig.
Bobby Pierce started 26th, one of the drivers we thought was going to be a real serious contender to win this race, trying to make some moves. There's J.J. Yaley in the 83 that spins and gets into the front of the 63. Chris Wyndham in the 36 got in there as well.
And Kevin, you've done a little bit of dirt racing. There's just hardly no way to avoid a spinning truck because you just don't have any grip.
Yeah, and especially right now when it's wet like that. I mean, you see it, the 36 getting to the back of the 63 there, but that all was caused from J.J. Yaley just getting loose. And it's hard. It's slimy right now. You don't really know what you have, and everybody's all over the racetrack. You're in different spots that you hadn't been in all day, and, stuff like that is going to happen.
One thing I noticed, Kevin, you talked about these grills as these cars come behind me, the trucks. The top 6 or 7, Kevin, no dirt on the front. There's an old saying, if you're up front, you're good, but take a look at these front. There you go. There's Matt Crafton, the 4. They look good, Kevin, but as you get back to around 10th or 12th, look at the 29. They might overheat. Let's keep an eye on it. Vince?
Yeah, that's certainly something we saw John Hunter Nemechek's truck earlier in the day overheating because of the same exact reason. And look at the mud on the front of that truck of Chase Briscoe.
And it looks like Chase Briscoe's truck right there has just a regular screen in the front of it. A lot of time we'll run what is called outerwear, and it's this real fine, thin screen, and it'll have the mud fall off.
Here's from Chase Briscoe's view. Look at the mud. Watch the mud get on that front windshield and how his vision all of a sudden becomes reduced.
Man, I know how that feels. Schrader absolutely duped me one day. He said, just follow me out here. I didn't know we were going to pack the track. We went out of the pits, and he smashed the gas, and I had 2 inches of mud all over my shield.
How about Christopher Bell running third, Hermie?
Well, Vince, some interesting conversation from Christopher Bell just prior to the green flag falling. In years past, we've seen a lot of drivers be able to make up ground on the bottom of the racetrack to start the event, but before they dropped the flag, he told his spotter, Tony Hirschman, hey, I think we're going to be better on the top. If you see some drivers start making moves on the bottom and making progress, let me know. But I think it's a little bit slimy at the bottom to begin the race. So we'll keep an eye on whether or not the 4 and some of the other front runners are going to have to move around any to protect that lead.
Well, we heard Kenny visit with Tony Stewart earlier in the day, and talking about how he might alter the track for tonight's Dirt Derby, and indicated about maybe putting some water down on that low groove to provide some option, give a little more grip, a little tackiness to that lower groove, Mike, and that's exactly what we saw at the start of the race in these initial laps.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of guys pit. Kenny Wallace talked about back 10th, 15th, 20th guys with a lot of dirt, mud on their grills overheating. We've got guys coming to pit road to clean their grills off.
Yeah, every truck that pitted right there had come to pit road to clean their grill off. And they weren't cleaning just a few pieces here and there off. There was piles of mud on the ground.
Chris Neville.
Well, Vince, we saw Bobby Pierce come to pit lane. I just checked in with crew chief Rick Wren, and he said he thinks it's just cosmetic damage on that truck. Until they get back up to speed, he's not going to know if there's any issues with maybe toe or camber on that right front. But he thinks right now it's just cosmetic, and boy, that truck has a lot of cosmetic damage after today.
Well, and also that 83 of J.J. Yaley that spun initially that caused Bobby Pierce to have that contact. The hood is up on that 83 of Yaley, and there's the 21 of Johnny Sauter. Flap up on the front end of that machine. Kenny.
Vince, there's something they do on the mile dirt track, specifically Springfield and DuQuoin. Look at the piece of plastic on the 21. There you go. What that was, years ago, they would put that there. See the mud? That is supposed to keep the mud from going on the windshield. So the ideal is the mud hits that, not the windshield. That's also on the 45 truck tonight. So I had a lot of people ask about that.
Yeah, I'd say they need a bigger flap.
We need a bigger flap. Those truck windows are way taller than whatever they had them on before, because that window's dirty.
Yeah.
And this one as well.
How much of a distraction is this as a driver for you in this situation with that windshield looking the way it does for Briscoe?
It would certainly be a lot worse for Harvick and I because we're not used to racing the dirt. Right. But this kid has raced dirt his whole life. I guarantee you, Vince, he's seen a lot worse than that. And I would say it's a minimal distraction to Briscoe because of his experience of running open wheel cars with that dirt hitting his helmet.
Yeah, but the open wheel cars don't have a windshield on them, and that really has collected that mud.
He's probably used to just reaching his hand up there and wiping it off or pulling a tear off. That window is what it is.
Hearing Kenny Schrader got a penalty for putting a little fuel in the truck. Can't fuel until the stage breaks, and so he'll have an issue. And there's Jeffrey Abbey trying to make his way back on the track and not lose a lap. We're going to go green, Vince.
Front row, same as it was when we started the race initially. Stuart Friesen outside and Matt Crafton inside. 75 of Caleb Holman didn't get started. Now finally does. See if he's going to pull off track as he goes down into turn one.
Well, the one thing that I would be a little bit concerned about as these guys are shifting is whether they came here to shift or not. Because if you're going to run it in third gear a lot of times you'll need a transmission cooler to keep the transmission cool. And a lot of times, like I see that 75 truck there, it sounded like he was stuck in gear. So that was the thing that made me think that it might be a transmission issue.
Well, Matt Crafton certainly had the plan. As he gets into the wall, Crafton does just ahead of the Bell. That opens the door on the bottom for Bell. Crafton was over the cushion, but he comes back strong on the outside. Crafton had a plan. He thought the pace would slow down during the course of this race, and he would be able to use third gear to his advantage to make some passes. He's certainly running well.
Back on board with Briscoe. That's Ben Rhodes just in front of him in that 27. Going to be a competition caution at lap 20 to check the track surface. Look at that 3 wide. Briscoe inside, Ben Rhodes in the middle, John Hunter Nemechek in that green number 8 up top.
I like what I'm seeing from Briscoe. That truck is fast. He had an issue in his heat race. The right front wheel locked up. They made adjustments to that. Looks like he's got that squared away. He could go up there and have something to say about who wins this race.
Briscoe in that 29 machine, sitting in 5th now, starting to climb up a little bit and threaten Matt Crafton.
Well, the one thing we heard Matt Crafton talk about earlier was wanting to run up against the wall, and we see him down there on the bottom, so maybe the plan has changed.
Well, it looks like there's good grip down there. More of the field has dropped to the bottom. Watch Sheldon Creed, Kenny Wallace. They're starting to really make that bottom happen.
Mikey, I can reach out here and touch it. Look at the bottom. It's not greasy anymore. It's starting to clean up. It's getting fast. Christopher Bell, a lot of them starting to make passes on the bottom, while the top is getting a little slipperier. Vince?
Crafton in 3rd, Nemechek 4th. How about this nice battle with Briscoe and Creed there in that blue and white 20.
Yeah, watch Sheldon Creed. He's fun, Vince. He'll have that thing really hung out. Oh, he tries to dive to the bottom, and Ben Rhodes was there. They make contact. And around goes Johnny Sauter. Track's blocked over in turn 4.
A lot of contact. So Creed got a little bit too sideways, couldn't quite control it. Ben Rhodes got involved in it, and then it just started collecting people.
And it didn't stop soon.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing about dirt racing is once they wreck like that and you're full steam ahead going into the corner, you just can't stop.
Like Johnny Sauter, maybe the 51 of Harrison Burton in there as well. Yeah, Burton with some damage on the right rear.
Norm Benning involved. The 0 of Corbin Forrester as well. Forrester's the last one to drive away. But you could see Creed tried to dive to the bottom, and Ben Rhodes had no idea that he was getting
He just didn't expect that he was coming. And then it just all piles in from here, and it's just who can get slowed down. And see Harrison Burton back into the 20 truck there. And
look at that. He just changed directions on Rhodes, and Ben was committed, couldn't do anything about it. Nice job by Ryan Truex getting around the top. And Justin Haley down around the bottom. See what Pierce sees in the 63 truck.
There's Benning coming in, about 8 of them in all total involved in that one.
This ought to be a good view. Look up top and see this move of the 20 truck into the corner.
Yeah, that's just one of those racing deals right there.
Yeah, see if Johnny Sauter got much damage. I don't think he did in that 21 truck. A little bump on that right rear, but didn't hit anything with the front.
From the 19 of Austin Cindric.
Oh, nice job by Cindric to squeeze to the outside and make it through.
Kept our camera safe.
Yeah. It's made it about 19 more laps than I thought it would.
Well, I can tell you this. We have more cool camera views tonight than I've seen in a long time. This is great.
Not only do we get excited and the fans to come to Eldora and the racers, our Fox NASCAR production team gets really fired up and brings really cool cameras, and it's just a great show tonight.
How about Johnny Sauter as he's coming through, trying to avoid the accident, the spin. That was last night, by the way, and then there was a spin in front of him, and Sauter trying to avoid it ends up spinning, and then Harrison Burton, the third one to the party, really is would cause the significant damage on Sauter's machine, and they worked extra hard over the course of the morning to get that repaired in the afternoon.
And I'm telling you, Vince, there was damage to the dashboard of that truck. It hit so hard. Half the dash was torn out of it. They patched the side together, put some blue decal tape on the side. It looks as good as anything else out there right now, doesn't it?
Well, and I think that's what the teams want to do. They want to try to keep it to a minimum of one truck, because you know that the body's going to be beat off the truck, and you're going to have damage, and there's going to be dirt and rocks and stuff beaten. All the crush panels are going to be beat out of it. It's going to be used up.
Look at this thing.
On this under this competition caution, the drivers can bring their trucks to the pits. They'll come in two groups. The top 13 will come first, and you can clean the grill and the windshield only during this competition caution.
And that's just a safety measure. They knew they were going to change the track. We saw Tony Stewart and the crew working on it. Gives everybody a chance to look over their truck and make adjustments if needed. Chris.
Well, we see Stuart Friesen in pit lane here. He's pretty happy with that truck. Says it's a little bit tight, but most importantly, he hasn't even really started pushing it. And that windshield on that truck, while a lot of guys having a hard time seeing, he's out front, so no problems there. Hermie.
Chris, a potential problem brewing for the 29. You see Chase Briscoe hitting his pit stall now. They can only do the windshield and the grill here, but you can see him working the right. Look at him working the shifter. His truck will not stay in fourth gear. When he gets in the gas, the transmission bumps up into third gear. So they're looking at options, either staying in third gear for the rest of this run or fixing a bungee cord for him to hold it in fourth gear. But his truck will not stay in high gear.
Well, I can tell you this, Vince, when I heard guys running in third gear yesterday in practice, they were turning a ton of RPM. So if the track slows down, he might be able to overcome this, but if the track is sticky and grippy, he's in trouble.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Eldora. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Jegs. What a great view of this spectacular facility.
Yeah, thanks, Jegs. I mean, it just shows you what a big event this is. Cars parked for as far as you can see. Track's lit up. It's a beautiful night.
Trouble for the 21 of Johnny Sauter. Hermie?
Made an additional pit stop, Vince, to clean the mud off the grill of this 21 truck. He was actually a little bit concerned about the water temperature on this 21 even before he collected all this mud. But just look at the amount of mud and dirt on the front of this race truck. No question why it was overheating, but now he's got a issue with that, as well as he's lost all his track position. Kenny?
Can you all see me? This is off Chris Windham, the number 36 truck. You can't see me now? Here I am. Can you believe this is what they started the race with? That gives you an idea what these drivers are dealing with. Shout out to Ray Bollinger, second in national UMP points here tonight, helping the rest of these dirt racers.
Hey, Kitty, get back behind that.
Here we go. Here we go. Yep, Mikey, you see me?
I like it better like that, bud.
Hey, you're mean. Don't be mean to me. I love you.
Hey, Kitty, we are worried about you up here. Keep your hands inside the fence.
Well, you know what? I get a little excited, and as a dirt racer, I know that myself and Ray Bollinger on those dirt tracks, when they start fixing the bottom of the track, we'll get down there. We will help ourselves, Kevin. We'll pack the track in. I leaned over there, and they started getting closer to me. I said, I better get out of the way.
Good call. Good call, Kenny. Good stuff. As you see Caleb Holman Chris, what's happening with Holman?
Well, Vince, that last green flag came out, and we saw the 75 truck pull to the outside, and it just didn't go. And watching that truck in the, I think it was the qualifying race, the fourth qualifying race, he was able to keep pace with Christopher Bell, so it was going to be interesting to watch that truck tonight. But as he went to the gas and tried to pull it to second gear, it just got stuck in first gear. The team's been trying to work it free and get that transmission working, but they just aren't making any progress.
Tough break for Holman, who was the pole winner here last year and then was involved in an accident, so didn't get the finish that he was hoping for, and another tough break for Holman in that 75 group tonight.
Man, there's been a lot happening here at the beginning of this race. A lot of unexpected mud, I guess you could say, that's popped up.
You know, I think with all the action that we're seeing and the beautiful views that we've gotten out of Chase Briscoe, we've got this beautiful camera. Let's see if we can get a word with Chase. Hey, Chase, buddy, it's Michael Waltrip and Kevin Harvick up in the Fox Sports booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Wow, what a shot you're giving us with this helmet cam. You had your grill covered up early. How's everything going? Is the truck all right?
Yeah, I feel like we're really good. Honestly, I feel like we probably could have got up to second, but just keeps popping out of fourth gear, so I was having to keep messing with it. But I think that we got this thing pretty tuned up and see how these restarts go. But yeah, I think we're good. So far, so good. And I know I have a pretty good view, so it's cool to finally be able to get the fans that.
It's awesome, and we can see out your windshield now. It must be refreshing to be able to see where you're going.
I was going to say you could see because I hardly could. So yeah, it's nice to get a tear off. It's definitely different. Normally I'm able to pull it myself. So part of it though, Tony has this track in awesome shape. So looking forward to getting back going.
Thanks for talking with us. We're going to keep riding along. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how that track changes from the tackiness that we've seen early on and how it changes throughout the course of the night as we have about 10 laps left here in this first stage once we go back green.
Well, you've been here every year. I've watched every year on TV. That's probably as damp as I've seen the bottom groove.
Yeah, it's the most mud we've seen thrown up, and it was just guys that had been fighting all day long, Kevin, to find grip, and Tony worked on the track trying to give them some grip on the bottom, and those guys dipping down into the wetter surface, it certainly kicked up a lot of mud and caused problems for some. Now they're just rearranging the lineup. You know, we pit in 2 shifts, so have to get everybody back in the right position. When we go to our stage breaks at 40 and lap 90, we don't count those laps. The teams will be able to pit, but the caution laps won't count, and we'll be able to line back up like that.
And we have to pit in 2 groups, obviously, because the pit area is smaller here, so not everyone can pit along the front straight all in one session, so have to split the field up into 2 groups for their pit stops.
And I like that for the truck series. I don't know that that's a bad thing that could happen every week. Add an extra stage at the end of the race, maybe have 3 stages and take those competitive pit crews out because it saves these teams a lot of money. And if you look around, it doesn't hurt the crowd.
What a beautiful crowd. You're right, Kevin.
We'll go green when we come back to Eldora, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's the Dirt Derby at the Big E. Just back to green at Eldora with Stuart Friesen leading the way. He has been out front the entire race so far, but he's getting some challenge from that 88, the bright yellow truck of Matt Crafton. Christopher Bell around the top side for second as well.
Friesen saying, I got him coming at me from every direction. Matt Crafton attacking the bottom, Bell on the outside. We know that Crafton knows how to make it work down low, and he is doing just that. He's going to make the pass.
Crafton for the lead. He got it. Now Friesen comes right back on the top side. Christopher Bell going sideways and getting around.
Go down the street.
Oh, Kaz Gralla.
Some heavy damage to the front end of that 33 of Kaz Gralla and the race favorite Christopher Bell around, and sure how much damage he's going to have on that right side.
I mean, damage on the right side, but I don't know that it's going to hurt.
Oh, yeah, it's hurt bad.
Yeah, it won't turn. Yeah, that ends that for our favorite.
That is a big development in this race. As you talk to the different drivers down in the garage area, they all talked about Christopher Bell and how fast that truck was. Bell, a former winner here, and now major issues for Bell. And it's points and championship implication as well for him to be out this early.
Yeah, he's done, in my opinion. I don't think that one's going to continue tonight.
That's a shame. And for Kaz Grala, a couple accidents lately. You know, you're riding along behind Christopher Bell. You certainly don't expect him to go around. And the 33 truck for Grala is definitely done. The damaged vehicle policy here at Eldora is different than it normally is. You can go into the garage area and work on your truck. There's no 5-minute clock. So if this team can cut pieces and parts away, he can at least get back out on the track and make some laps. And it just looks like to me, Kevin, that right front suspension is totaled out.
Yeah, it looks like the upper control arm's probably bent along with the clip.
Bell was running in third place, challenging on the top side, and there you see just got away from him.
Just lost it. You know, and I think we saw this a lot yesterday, and we talked about it a lot. You know, these guys, especially these dirt car guys, they have a lot to lean on when they race their dirt cars and their sprint cars, and these trucks, they don't have a lot of side bite. They don't have a lot of grip. They don't have a lot to lean on, and when they get too far around, they're gone.
And you can see Grala just hidden behind two trucks, couldn't see what was ahead of him, and you just don't change directions on the dirt like you can on pavement.
How about on board with Christopher Bell?
Lock it down.
Boy, Ty Dillon did a good job of avoiding contact with Bell. There's Ty Dillon up there in that 99. Barely missed clipping Bell.
Did you see that left front tire lock up? And luckily, when he let off the brake, that thing turned to the right, because it is so hard. Like Michael said, it is so hard to change directions on the dirt when you're trying to stop.
Frustrating conclusion for Kaz Grala. Had nowhere to go.
And he did great in the heat race. Won his heat race.
Championship challenger Christopher Bell. Trouble at the end of stage 1 at Eldora.
It'll be a little while back.
Stage 1 points. Matt Crafton, your stage 1 winner. Passed Stuart Friesen right before the end of that stage. But the big development, the accident involving Christopher Bell. But a very impressive early going for Matt Crafton as our stage winner. And Crafton now starting to make his way to pit road.
A lot of trucks staying on the track, Vince. Use that competition caution to get a little bit of service to their trucks. Decided to take advantage of some track position. You stay on the track, you retain your position.
Chase Briscoe, Ryan Truex, Grant Enfinger, Cody Coughlin, Noah Gregson, Rico Abreu, Johnny Sauter among those coming for service.
Crafton with tire change here. I was interested to think or find out what Kenny Wallace and some of the competitors thought about changing tires. Would there be a performance advantage by putting new tires on? And I didn't really get a definitive answer for anyone. I know the crew chiefs like to keep everything close to their vest and don't tell you what they're going to do, but I heard maybe one tire change during the course of the event, but not two. So some of these guys that are pitting now will stay out maybe during the next.
Yeah, and maybe that's the strategy. Like you say, we never know with these crew chiefs, but I guess one of the strategies would be to pit early and stay out for the rest of the race. Kenny?
Mikey, I want to talk to you about what you said about the tires. I did talk to the Goodyear tire engineers yesterday. They said, Herm, we ran the same tires the last 4 times we've been here. This time, we bought a brand new tire. It's a softer compound, a little bit more sidewall flexibility. Tony Stewart went to Goodyear. He said, I want to keep the track hard, make the tire a little bit more compliant, give the drivers something to lean on. So it is a little different this year. Hermie, what do you have, buddy?
I tell you, Kenny, this pit road looks like coming down at Hickory in 1994. These teams are just right at the back of the hauler, a lot of confusion. You can see Rico Abreu is completely like he's putting the car on the hauler, but you have to be really, really careful coming down pit road. But the 88 and the 89, the Thor Sport trucks have all been to pit road. There was a tire change on the 88. His truck was a little bit tight the longer they ran, but obviously not too many adjustments. But they did put 4 tires on the 88 and also the 21 of Johnny Sauter getting tires as well. Now the 4, Rudy Fugel asked Christopher Bell to stay on the racetrack, even though they know they got a lot of damage, especially to the right front, because they felt like this stage would end under caution and they would at least not lose laps while they were trying to get the truck to pit road to get it worked on. But it looks like the 4 will be on pit road next time by, and they can assess the damage.
Thank you, Hermie. By the way, pit road, the track obviously dirt. The pit road area where the trucks come in and the work is done is actually concrete, and you can't lose positions when you come to pit road for your pit stops at the end of the stage. So you saw the crews working very deliberately. That's because they weren't losing positions through the pace of their work there on pit road. If they came in 5th, then they would not lose spots, determining no matter how long their pit stops happen to be. Now, Matt Crafton was the winner of stage 1. Let's see if Kevin can get him dialed in.
Yeah, let's dial him up. Hey, Matt Crafton, Kevin Harvick, Michael Waltrip, and Vince Welch up in the Fox booth. Congratulations on your second stage win of the year. We heard you talk earlier about concentrating on running the high line, and we see you making up positions on the bottom. Is that bottom going pretty good so far?
I just said I was going to go where they're not, and we ran the top for a little while, and top is just definitely a little different than it was last night. We just went and searched and found something a little bit there, and we'll see how long it stays.
Well, we saw a lot of mud on the windows at the beginning of the race. How much of an issue is it right now after the first run with the mud on the windshield?
It's fine. The mud on the windshield, I guess we got lucky. We started up close to the front, didn't have much. I know a lot of trucks had a lot of mud on the grills and were overheating, but this Toyota was just fine on the temperature.
All right, Matt. Well, keep it up. We'll be watching. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Impressive run for Crafton. An unfortunate end to the run for Kaz Grala. He's with Chris Neville.
Yeah, boy, tough break for Kaz Grala. So strong tonight. You won your qualifying race, but problems here early. You know, Kaz, once you commit to the line in the corner, when you've got a truck stopped in the middle of the racetrack, how tough is it to try and make evasive action to the right or the left or get stopped?
You're exactly right. It's very hard, and I had already committed to throttle, so I was already at a certain yaw in the corner, and fortunately couldn't get high enough or low enough to miss him. Really hate that because I think we actually could have had a really good night here. Coming into this, I wouldn't have expected that, but seemed to have pretty decent speed, and I was just starting to try to get the hang of the racing out there. It's obviously brand new to me, but we're hanging strong in the top 10 there, close to the top 5. I think we could have had ourselves a really good points night and maybe even contended for the win, but now they're trying to fix it, trying to get me back out, but I don't think we'd be in any sort of contention. So definitely disappointing for the 1540 Connection Chevy, but we'll fight back at Pocono. That'll be fun.
Thanks, Kaz. Vince?
Christopher Bell, second in the point standings. Major issues after that contact with Kaz Grala. Stage 2 when we come back to Eldora. Before we go back green here at Eldora for Stage 2, let's check in with Kenny Wallace.
Thanks, Vince. Got a text from the man that finished third in the UMP Summer National Points in the stands. Herman, you should see these people in the stands. Love this truck race. Our sport is the best. Look at this crowd. If you wonder about dirt racing, there's your proof. They love it.
Yeah, it is an absolutely great crowd tonight here at Eldora. Terrific walk-up, and it is just a spectacular night to be at the racetrack.
They're watching one of their own, a dirt racer from Canada, put it on the field right now.
That's Stuart Friesen, who will restart outside row 1 with John Hunter Nemechek inside, and Stage 2 underway at Eldora.
Friesen makes that outside work. John Hunter gets loose. Austin Cindric in the 19 truck to the outside. Look at that glob of trucks.
Great view from up top as Nemechek trying to hold on to that second position, but getting challenged. Austin Cindric of the 19 just inside of him. That's Ty Dillon in the red and white 99 coming up to get into the mix. Justin Haley in there as well.
That bottom lane is really hooked up right now.
Caution is out, just as we were having a challenge for the lead with Nemechek and Friesen. Multiple trucks getting together. That's Max Johnston down there in the bright orange 02. Ben Rhodes there to the right in the 27. That 0 of Corbin Forrester involved as well. Max Johnston, the racer from Australia that has come over and running in his first ever Camping World Truck Series event.
That 27 truck is done. know how much damage is done to the 0-2. I think Rhodes might have run into the side of Johnston.
Johnston was running inside the top 10 at the time. And there's Ben Rhodes.
Can't get any rhythm going on our races tonight. Guys are losing control of their trucks and causing some major pileups. See down on the bottom, Johnston goes around and Ben Rhodes just committed and ran into the side of him.
And I cannot stress how hard it is to slow these trucks down. That was a big hit for the speeds that were going here, and it was also head on. So I agree with you, Mike. I don't know that either one of those trucks are going to continue tonight.
Yeah, I think Rhodes knows his night's over. A couple of tough weeks for the kid from Kentucky.
NASCAR official, I'm sure, explaining to Ben that he needs to go to the medical center after being involved in that accident. Here's a replay of it.
Proud to report that no operators were hurt when our camera lens was busted off of turn 2 there. Unfortunately, can't say the same for those two trucks. Max Johnston and Ben Rhodes. Johnston, the 23-year-old out of Sydney, Australia, just wanted to come over here, Kenny Wallace, and try out the dirt Eldora. Didn't go too well for him.
You know, Mikey, I got to give my opinion on this. The 0-2, of course, Christopher Bell, a legend already at his young age. These drivers are just spinning out. The story is not the racetrack. The racetrack is in perfect shape. There's nothing wrong with the racetrack. These drivers are driving hard, Mikey, but they're going down in the corner. They're setting the truck sideways. If they think they're in a midget, a sprint car, and they're just driving really hard. Hermie, what do you have?
The Ford truck of Christopher Bell back on pit road. I just spoke briefly with Rudy Fugel. Obviously the toe was knocked out. They did not replace any parts. They know they got bent parts, probably lower control arm, and possibly a spindle, ball joint, most everything else. But you can see them, even though the right side is towed out. Rudy said they're going to work on the left side to try to get it closer to the right side because they don't have any more adjustment left on the right side. He's going to try to stay on the lead lap. They plan to try to do much more to it at the end of the next stage break when the laps do not count under caution.
So big challenge for that Kyle Busch Motorsports team in the 4 of Christopher Bell. Now, right before the accident that brought out the yellow, here's Chase Briscoe in that 29. He gets into the wall as well.
He did just what Kenny Wallace explained. Experienced dirt racer just got in there a little bit too hot. Check this out from the visor cam. He knows he's in trouble. That's what I love about dirt racing, Kevin. He knew he was in trouble, so what's he do? Go to the gas.
And he's doing a little housekeeping inside as well.
Hey.
Is that the Swiffer?
Is that your Swiffer for your apartment? Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those at my apartment.
Yeah, and what happens is the dust comes inside the cab and it sticks to that Lexan on the inside of the window, and they just try to keep that dust off the inside. So
now, is that tech approved?
I think so.
Swiffer? Yeah.
Just at Eldora.
Back to green, early stages of stage number 2 when we return. We're racing tonight at Eldora, but on Monday night, it's Monday Night Hoops on FS1. The Big 3 heads to Chicago, where the action continues to heat up. It's Monday night at 8 o'clock, only on FS1. Well, it's been an eventful night for the 21 of Johnny Sauter, the defending series champ. What's going on with him now, Herm?
Well, he's here, Vincent, as you can tell, still working on the 21. They had to change the radiator. He had overheating problems earlier in the race. Well, the radiator, they came down pit road a couple laps ago, tried to put water in it. The radiator would not hold water, so there's a hole in the radiator. Debris or a rock went through it, so they had to come in, actually change the radiator. They are buttoning in the new radiator to send Johnny back on the racetrack, but been a long, long night for the 21. Tough night in the points as well.
Well, it's been a tough night all the way around for those that are at the top or near the top of our championship standings. Here's the playoff standings as they run. Christopher Bell with those 3 wins already this season, but we've documented the issues that he's had after that contact with Kaz Grala. Grala, a winner already this season. He's out. Hermie was just talking about Johnny Sauter and the problems that he's had. So even Chase Briscoe, there 5th in the standings, has had problems tonight. Ben Rhodes, issues as well, and he is with Chris Neville.
And Ben was just released from the infield care center down there. And that was a hard hit there, Ben. You're coming around that inside wall. How tough is it to see around that wall?
Well, the wreck was coming down the track as I was coming around the corner. And, it's just a shame. We have a whole lot of people out here from Safe Light to come support us tonight. And, definitely want to give them a better run in this. But it should be called the Demolition Derby, not the Dirt Derby, because that's what it is. I mean, our truck's just totally destroyed. Horrible points tonight for us. We're going to lose some positions in the points battle, which is tough coming up on the playoffs. And we just really need to get in there. But the track was so muddy tonight, it just covered the grill and put us in a bad position from the start.
Vince.
Thanks, Chris. The green is out, and we're racing again at Eldora. Stuart Friesen in that blue 52 on the outside, looking to make the move around John Hunter Nemechek. Friesen back to the point. Nemechek in second. How about Cindric, Crafton, and Justin Haley? All 3 together. Haley in that 24. Here comes Ty Dillon in the 99.
Cindric is a great story, Vince. He runs rally cars. I said, how much dirt have you done? He said, there's usually a turn or 2 on the rally car course that are dirt. So I know a little bit about it, but this is so different than the discipline he's used to, and he's doing a super job.
And the action is crazy on these restarts as everyone's jockeying for position. Ty Dillon running the top side of that red and white 98, trying to get around Cindric and Crafton by using that high line.
Oh, Crafton into the side of Cindric. I think Cindric saw what Crafton was doing and liked it. Tried to move to the bottom. They got together. And that's Justin Haley diving into the corner. As a kid, he was a dirt racer in Indiana. That's how he grew up. So he's got some experience, and he's got some speed as well.
I like the work Ty Dillon's doing around the top.
I do, and I think he is definitely one of the trucks that has been consistently running up high, and it seems like he's had speed all night. Now he's going to prove me wrong and go down to the bottom and run the bottom of the racetrack. But the other thing to remember is the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. As you see him have a little bit of contact here with the 19 truck. But Matt Crafton is one of the guys that put new tires on when he pitted at the end of that stage.
Yeah, and he's making them work. He's able to hang right with Ty Dillon. Those guys are diving to the bottom. Crafton's kind of searching around in the middle right now. I think he's got good speed. Check out Rico Abreu. Golly, there's so many battles, Vince.
That is a gaggle back there and just outside the top 15. Abreu running 17th on board with Chase Briscoe, who's a spot ahead in 16th. A little contact there. And now Abreu and Briscoe running side by side. And here comes Harrison Burton in that 51 to make it 3 wide.
And you know who's pedaling along just ahead of these guys as we get on board with Briscoe with this awesome view? It's Christopher Bell. They've been able to get that.
One inside, clear low, all clear there.
They've got the toe straight on that truck, and he's making okay time. You see him there trying to race inside of Noah Gregson.
Just inside the top 15, Bell slotted in the 14th spot, racing around Chris Windham there in the 36, that orange and yellow truck.
Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you?
I did not see that one coming. I really thought that truck's night was over because it looked like the right front tire had about 5 inches of toe out. Those guys just kind of, they rode around under the caution and got themselves to the brake. They fixed the one side of the toe. They came back in, they fixed the other side of the toe. And somehow they have got that truck at least competitive, and that's really really remarkable from the way that it looked.
And at this point, Bell just trying to salvage positions for the championship at the end, right?
He's just, trying to get the best finish he can. He's a dirt racer. He understands that he made a bit of a mistake, and he wants to try to overcome that mistake and get the team the best finish he can. Guy leading the points coming in, Johnny Sauter, he finds himself 6 laps down, Vince. And, I'm all about regular season points, but I want playoff points. And tonight is a night where somebody is going to gain some playoff points on Christopher Bell and Johnny Sauter. And that's big for your chances to win the championship.
Mikey, as the trucks go around the bottom, that is the fast lane right now. Everybody's running the bottom. But here's what's going to happen. They're going to drive the bottom up. Later in this race, the fastest lane will be the top. Look for them all to run the bottom now, then go to the top. Chris Neville.
Well, John Hunter Nemechek having a good run here tonight. He's the first to admit he's still learning a lot about dirt racing, really asking a lot of drivers for advice, and one of those drivers, Ty Dillon, right now trying to get around him. He said, Ty's always told me, race the racetrack. Don't race other drivers, and that's what John Hunter Nemechek's crew is telling him right now. Don't worry about this race. Just race the track. It's going to change so much. Feel around for some grip.
Yeah, Nemechek led some laps earlier tonight, the fourth straight race that he has been out front. Now feeling some heat from Ty Dillon in that 99. Dillon all over John Hunter Nemechek. You know, Kenny was talking about running the bottom and that being the fast way around here right now, and we're seeing a lot of trucks down on the bottom as you see Ty Dillon go down there to try to make the pass on John Hunter Nemechek.
Well, I can tell you one truck that's not running the bottom, and that's the 4. He is right up against the wall. We got a caution here.
Got one on the bottom spun around. I think it's a 20.
That's Sheldon Creed.
Creed's been a highlight reel himself tonight. Got sideways down into turn 3.
Finished 16th here a year ago. He's had some good speed in that Chevrolet throughout practice yesterday and today. Done a nice job. And Bell continues to soldier on. Doing a little cleaning inside as well.
And you know, Kevin, you were hitting on it right when the caution come out. Christopher Bell and Rico Abreu are running the very top of the racetrack, as high as we've seen anyone, and they're making it work. I know why Bell's doing it. He's messed his truck up. It probably doesn't handle well. He needs that cushion to get it through the corners. But Rico Abreu saw the ground that Bell was making up top, and he joined him. You can see how high they are up there.
Both of those guys have won here in other forms of racing. They're very comfortable of running the cushion at Eldora.
You see the run that the 89 truck of Rico got there as he laid up against that cushion on entry and shot across the middle of the racetrack, and he got a huge run up off the corner. Kenny?
Tony Stewart, as you said, he worked on the surface to make this a fast way. Let's take a look now. Remember I told you the bottom is fast now, and it's going to burn up, and we're going to go to the top. I got the cameraman. Look at here. See how it's getting black already? This is going to eventually get slow down here, okay, as we're showing you. The groove will move up to the top later on, but the whole field is running the bottom. There's still a little bit of speed down here on the bottom. Just wanted to give you all a good look.
Kenny, keep your eye on Christopher Bell and Rico Abreu, because they're hitting that high side. They're hitting that cushion and making it work. They're making some good time back there. I think they would like it if those front runners would keep hooking the bottom, because they're making it happen on the top.
And I can't even get over the fact that we're talking about Christopher Bell even being competitive. I feel bad for misrelaying that information.
Well, I don't think anybody would blame you when they saw that truck smoking with 5 inches of tow out in the front end.
Another dirt clod breaks the camera lens.
What are we going to do?
Back at Eldora, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Under the lights. What a beautiful view of this half mile, and it has been full of action so far. And one of the big stories, Christopher Bell took a big hit to the right side of his truck earlier tonight. Looked like he was done. I mean, the damage on that vehicle, and here he is finding himself in 10th place on the lead lap.
Yeah, I can't believe it. You know, I think as you look at that tow out and you look at everything that happened to it, but I tell you, even if the truck is screwed up, he's going to feel like, I got to make up a little bit of something here. And he's got that baby up on the cushion, and he is rim riding around this joint, Mikey.
He's making it happen. And, Hermie, we can't believe what we're seeing. What's Rudy Fugo and the team say about the Ford truck? They think they got it close?
Yeah, listen to Rudy and Christopher, just a little bit of a vibration. They want to come down and maybe work on the toe one more time. But they've got a decision to make at the end of this stage. Do they come in and work on it and put tires on and lose all that track position, because they don't think a lot of the leaders will pit at the end of this stage?
I think if you could see how much the right front is still towed out, Hermie, you would definitely come in and work on it. I know Rudy and Fugel and the guys have cameras that they can watch the race on screens, that they can see this. I think that four still has significant damage.
I'd love to see him come in and work on it because I like watching him pass trucks.
He's done plenty of that tonight, that's for sure. Getting ready to go back green with John Hunter Nemechek inside, and Stuart Friesen will restart outside. Friesen has been the one controlling the front so far tonight. He's led 49 laps. Crafton around the top side.
They're 3 wide already. That's not surprising. Ty Dillon down the middle.
Friesen trying to get to the bottom. Ty Dillon trying to get second from Nemechek and does, and Crafton stays up top.
And now we see Friesen down on the bottom, and that little black strip that Kenny showed us that was around the bottom of the corner, now they're just above it in that moisture and that darker dirt that looks wet up there.
Look at Ty Dillon. We talked earlier in the day what a fast truck he has. He's going to lean on Friesen down in turn 4.
For the lead. Friesen hangs on for now. Friesen withstands the challenge from Ty Dillon, but the looks of that 99, it's not over yet. John Hunter Nemechek in third.
Well, the one place that Ty Dillon has made up the most ground is on all these restarts. It seems like he can maneuver his way and pass, 1 or 2, maybe 3 trucks on these restarts, and he keeps himself in a good position.
Bell running the top side. Saw the 80 of Shipley in there as well. Crafton in that bright yellow 88.
Shipley's doing a nice job in that 80 truck. Qualified near the front. Had a steady run tonight. Good to see some of these dirt racers having success here tonight. Add to the list of those, Rico Abreu up the middle trying to pass Matt Crafton.
And Crafton's losing some ground here. It's like since he's gone to the top of the racetrack, he's lost 4 or 5 spots, and you see Rico slide up right in front of him to lose another one.
Rico Abreu now up to 7th. Remember, ran 3rd here a year ago.
And if I was Rico's crew chief right now, things are going pretty good. And he's making up ground. He's got a good truck, and he's going to the front. But I would try to keep him calm, because I believe it was last year or the year before that he got up into the fence and tore his truck up. But right now it looks to me like he's got a truck that can win this race. He's passing trucks and making his way to the front. They just need to keep him from knocking the right rear quarter panel on the right side off this thing.
Rico gets another spot from Shipley, so he's now into the 6th position, and around Enfinger as well. So right into the top 5 goes Rico Abreu in that 89.
And you can see Enfinger up the middle trying to make that lane work. Shipley on the bottom, and there's Christopher Bell. He tried the bottom for a couple laps, Kevin. Lost some spots. Now he's returned to the top trying to make ground.
Well, I think he needs that crutch up on the top like you were talking about earlier. He needs that cushion to help his truck go through the corner. He doesn't have the front tires lined up and doing all the things that it needs to make that car or truck carve across the bottom. And there's Rico in the wall.
Yeah, you talked about it. Calm him down. That's a spotter's job here. We got to keep our driver cool. But that damage isn't enough to end his chances to win the race. But you can't do that over and over again. A mistake or two, you get by with it. You can't just wear the right side of it out.
Yeah, lost a couple of positions with that contact as we're 7 laps away from the end of stage 2.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he has any real damage on the right side.
That's
minor.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But almost up off the ground, still minor, right?
He had a few mulligans left from practice that most of these guys already took up.
Gets around the outside of the 80 truck of Shipley.
And if you notice, huge wreck here at the
big crash right in the front, right on the front stretch, just underneath the flag stand. The 10 goes around. That's Ray Cicerelli.
We're lucky those guys were able to leave a groove on the high side. Some of the faster trucks were squeezing between Cicerelli and the wall.
Yeah, there was another truck that hit the 10. Sure sounded a lot worse than it was sitting in the booth.
We're just 5 to go before this stage break. Be interesting to see with this restart how crazy they get going for the stage points.
It's right under the flag stand as they come to us.
Little contact there with the Was that the 20 of Shelton
I think
Creed?
that was the 20 of Sheldon Creed again that had some contact with 10.
And there you can see trucks just slipping by. Jeffrey Abbey, I think, made it past without any damage.
So Stuart Friesen continues to lead here in the final laps of stage number 2. Ty Dillon right behind him there in the 99 running second. I like those two trucks and how they have looked throughout the course of this night tonight.
And what about the impressive run by John Hunter Nemechek? A couple of back-to-back wins in the last couple of races, and now he finds himself in a position to do it again here on the dirt.
And Grant Infinger, I mean, he's had a great start to the season, in my opinion. He's had a couple accidents and a couple things go wrong, but he's been up front and contending week after week, running 5th.
Yeah, I love that. And you got to give a shout out to Kenny Schrader, the dirt racing ace.
How about that, Michael? 17 laps he spent a lap down tonight, and now Schrader's up there knocking on the door of the top 10 position.
4 Monster Energy Cup Series wins. He's won in the Xfinity Series. He's won in the trucks. Chris Neville, this is my hero, one of my heroes, Kenny Schrader, and he's having a nice run tonight.
Yeah, I was talking with Kenny yesterday. Just a big smile on his face. And, you know, you think Kenny's was winning races here back in the early 80s. A lot of these drivers weren't even born at that point in time. And he said last year, he took his truck apart. He wasn't planning on coming back. But when it got out there that he wasn't going to come back and do this truck race, this team called him up and said, hey, we want you to drive our truck. And, you know, Kenny, he's not going to pass up a race when someone says, come drive your truck.
Hey, Chris, he ran the Little 500 in Indiana around the Indianapolis 500, a 500-lap race on a short track. Said he finished 10th. It was a good race. He said he wasn't feeling too bad. The race was over. They set a beer on the hood of his race car when it was over, and he said, and I couldn't reach it. He said, that's motivation to get out of your race car. I needed to get out to be able to have a cold beer after a nice short track race, and he did just that.
Well, the final couple of laps here in this stage, we are going to go back green. The 29 of Chase Briscoe did come in for some quick service and back out. But Friesen will lead us back to green on this restart, along with Ty Dillon there on the inside. Pace vehicle is off. Going to be a sprint to the end of stage 2, and the green flag waving at Eldora.
Nice job on the start by Friesen. Laid back a bit, kind of took Ty Dillon off his game, and Friesen rockets out to the lead.
How about Bell burning it up around the top? Wow.
I think that's the only way you could say it, Vince. Burning it up around the top.
Bell's going to get stage points at the end of this stage.
I cannot believe it. What a great job by him and his team.
You got that right. Rudy Fugel told me yesterday Christopher Bell was the crew chief until he wrecks the truck. Well, he wrecked it.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And Fugel took over, and man, he's got him back on track.
Stuart Friesen wins stage 2 here at Eldora, and he has been out front for 67 laps tonight. He has been special. Had the fastest qualifying time. Such an accomplished dirt track racer, and finally getting a chance to see him show it here in the Truck Series. The final stage just ahead at Eldora. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at the Big E, Eldora. Aerial coverage provided by Jegs. Boy, and some great views from up top. What a wonderful scene that is as we look at our points earned tonight. Stuart Friesen wins stage 2. Been a good night for John Hunter Nemechek as well. And I don't know how Christopher Bell, there's a development for sure. Friesen, who just won stage 2, now he's got a problem. Chris Neville.
Yeah, Vince, and originally this team was not planning on coming to pit lane, but about a lap ago, the spotter said, hey, it looks like we've got a right flat. Stuart Friesen said, I do have a right front flat. So they decided, come to pit lane. They are going to make a slight adjustment. He said, if we're coming, let's put 4 tires on, and let's just tighten up the truck just a little bit.
So now Friesen's going to have some work to do.
Well, if you're going to have that happen, now's a good time to have it happen because you'll lose a whole lot less track position. So,
and we're entering the longest stage of the night, 60 laps.
Yeah, and there's going to be quite a few of the leaders that do come to pit road. So some did stay out, including Christopher Bell in that Ford truck. I guess they decided it's good enough, you think, Kevin?
It looked good enough to me when he was riding around the rim right there, throwing up dust.
Let's see if we can get a word with him. Hey, Christopher, it's Michael Waltrip, Vince Welch, and Kevin Harvick. Russell, the stat guy, up in the booth. Do you copy?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's about all I can say. Kevin and I thought your night was over, and you've driven it back into the top 5.
Yeah, I thought my night was over, too. I was really, really disappointed in myself, man. I knew I had a really good Tundra, and it felt like I threw it all out the window there, but my guys worked extremely hard and got me back out here. It's not the prettiest thing. It doesn't drive the best, but it seems to have speed, and we'll see if we can't hang on for another 50 more.
It looked like you really needed that cushion to make ground. Did you have to run up there, or do you think your truck's versatile enough, even with the damage, where you can go low if you need to?
Well, I felt like I passed a lot of guys right around the infield, so I think I can go wherever I need to. I feel like the top should get more and more dominant as we go on here because the bottom should start wearing out. But it stayed a lot longer than I thought it would from the beginning of the race, so we'll just have to be patient. Got to keep it going straight this time.
Well, I know you're disappointed with what happened, but I'm going to tell you, when you get out of that truck and look at how bad it's tore up and how fast you're going, you'll be proud of yourself again. Have fun, buddy. We're enjoying watching.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
It's amazing. And when we all go back to racing, when it's all said and done, Christopher Bell somehow is going to be the leader of this race again.
It really is amazing because that thing is tore up, and he doesn't even realize how bad it's torn it up. He's just driving the crap out of it.
Liberty Mutual spotter coverage, certainly been a team effort for this 4 team, getting it repaired enough to be up front again.
What do you think we're going to do here? You think we go up pit and work on it a little bit with the toe and put tires on it and fight through it some more? With only 60 to go, or you just want to maintain track position? I mean, if you can make it better, I think we need a pit. I think I'll be able to drive by him.
Liberty Mutual spotter coverage. Spotters, well, they got their hands full tonight as you take a look at where they're located, but trying to advise their drivers on where to go, and while they're slipping and sliding around, I don't think I'd want that job tonight.
Vince, don't you think it's cool that a lot of times these young racers like Christopher Bell lean on their spotters to understand how to race the tracks of NASCAR? But now the spotter's saying, what do you want me to tell you, Christopher? I don't know what you need to know. Help me out here.
Well, I think as you look at the experience that a guy like Christopher Bell brings to it, and you see the experience that he carries around this particular racetrack as well, I mean, it's just invaluable knowledge, and the kid has just done an amazing job driving the truck on asphalt, and now he's showing off tonight.
And Hermie is with his crew chief.
Well, the crew chief is Rudy Fugel. We went from thinking your night was over to not believing you guys didn't pit to continue working on it. And we cannot believe your truck is in the top 5. So exactly what was the damage and how close do you guys have it to being back correct?
The damage is pretty bad, and it's nothing we can fix here. So they got as close as we can. We got the KBM guys are amazing. I said it earlier, but they got as close as we can. Christopher's wheeling it, and we'll see if we can hang on for 60 laps. I
mean, do you think y'all can actually win this thing? Look at that truck.
Yeah, I think so. The right front tires, not the toes way off, but we'll see. It should be good.
That's crew chief Rudy Fugel, left his driver on the racetrack, Kenny, trying to win.
Hermie, there are a lot of family affairs here. Harrison Burton, 16 years old. His dad, over 20 wins in the Cup Series, Jeff Burton. Your boy's 16 years old. He's running 5th right now. How's the progress?
Well, the goal was to run the middle and the bottom until you had to run the top, and so far that's worked out. People have made mistakes, and we've taken advantage of that. So try to stay out of trouble, and the heat's coming now from behind, and just do what you can. Have fun, you know what I mean? If you don't have fun in racing, you're not going to have success.
Are you talking to him at all?
He doesn't listen.
He's like a 16-year-old.
David Strimmy's talking to him. I'm staying out of it.
It's pretty incredible. 16 years old, that young man right there. He's won in everything, and this is his very first time on dirt. Good job. Oh, look at that, right rear quarter panel damage.
Yeah, that was early in the race. Kenny, he didn't know that on dirt you couldn't use the brake to miss a wreck like you do on asphalt. So he got on the brake and it sputtered around, and he learned that. He hadn't done that since.
Vince?
Well, I think as you look at that truck, I think we better thank Hunt Brothers for feeding us all day.
No doubt.
They have kept us in the game. And I think for a guy like Harrison, I think when you look at the progress that he's made from the time that he practiced yesterday until where we are right now, spinning out at the beginning of the race, wrecking. This is knowledge that Harrison needs to race for a championship as he goes down the road.
And guys, listen, I talked to Jeff Burton yesterday. Started practice, guys were sideways, gassing it up. On. Harrison come through the corner, looked like he's on a short asphalt track, just straight as he could be. Jeff said he doesn't know what he's doing yet. He's going from not knowing what he's doing to being competitive. That's just awesome to show you the talent of these young racers.
Well, and you look at all these young racers, they learn so darn fast.
Yeah.
And they pick up on things really, really fast. And that's what's exciting about what we have in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series. With all these young guys, they do a great job.
Take a look at our Ford track facts tonight. Let's go to the Petty family and the success they had on the dirt. Richard Petty and Lee Petty.
First career win for Richard on the dirt. Southern States Fairgrounds, 1960. Pretty much special things happened after that.
Indeed. Austin Cindric having a pretty special night as well. He'll restart on the front row alongside of Christopher Bell as we get stage 3, the final stage underway here at Eldora. Watch them fan out 4 wide once we get this restart rolling. Everybody fighting for position, and we're racing again. The final stage underway at Eldora.
And you saw Christopher Bell go really low on that restart where some of that there's more moisture on the bottom of the racetrack to get a good launch, and it really worked well for him.
He picked that up on his tires, and it paid off, like you said.
Ty Dillon had a wheel full right there, lost a spot.
Justin Shipley in that blue truck in the middle of the track, he was in the top 5 on the restart, lost a little bit of ground, but you can see he's rallying back. Shipley's doing a great job tonight.
He's been there all night, Mike.
Yeah, racing right alongside Stuart Friesen, the guy that dominated the second stage, and you can see making some great ground. There's Grant Infinger. Friesen as low as I've seen anyone all night. This track is getting right.
That's about 6th through 10th. And those positions constantly changing. Herbie?
What an up and down night, Vince, it's been for Matt Crafton in the 88. Remember, he won the first stage, but he started this stage back in 18th position. They came down pit road 2 stops ago, made some changes, and we mentioned how the 88 struggles at the top of the racetrack. Historically, he could not go around the top of the racetrack and lost all his track position. They came in, basically undone everything they did to that truck on the previous stop, hoping that the 88 can make his way back to the front.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting how Crafton has said historically here at Eldora, they've been pretty good when they can run the bottom or the middle, but when he has to go to the top, the truck's just not there for him. And the same is the case here again tonight as you look at Chase Briscoe out the backside of that Ford. There's the 52 of Friesen, trying to work the bottom.
Keep your eye on the 52. They came and got tires after they had a flat, and man, he's been making some great moves down on the bottom of Austin Cindric there. Looks like that 52 truck, Kenny's one of the fastest on the track right now.
I'm telling you right now, Stuart Friesen is the truck to win this race. He pitted for tires. We call that getting sharp edges in dirt racing. His tires got sharp edges. He's the 2nd place right now. Can he run down Christopher Bell?
My guess, Kenny, is yes. He's on the inside of Chase Briscoe right now. I'm liking the groove he's running. He's running lower than anyone else. That means that truck is handling well, and he's doing a great job.
But I think the story with a guy like Friesen is the same story that we told with a guy like Rico. You have to keep him under control right here, not to tear his truck up as he gets, and he sees Christopher Bell in his sight. He's got to keep control of his truck and not make a mistake.
And you know what I think might help him do that, Kevin? They crashed a couple of trucks early in the season. They had to take a couple of races off. He didn't get to go to the track. And when he came back, it was here to Eldora, a place where he was very comfortable. He was able to race last time out in Kentucky, got his career best finish, and now he's contending for a win.
Downstairs to Chris Neville.
Yeah, Michael, I was talking with Stuart about that yesterday, and he said, taking those couple weeks off, it was the toughest decision to do, but we needed to do it as a team. We had to sit and figure out what we were doing wrong, and we had to come up with a better basic setup, and we did that, and it worked at Kentucky. Now coming here, he said, if we have a good weekend here, this is exactly what we need to do to turn this season around.
Well, and he just won a dirt modified race last Saturday night. I mean, this guy is in his wheelhouse right now on the dirt. So you're talking about building confidence and then to come to a place where he is his most comfortable on the dirt surface. Problems for Rico Abreu in the 89. Flat right rear coming to the pits. Tough break for Abreu. He was having a good run tonight.
Yeah, and you see that quarter panel folded in, and there's a seam right there by that U in that curb, and that's probably what cut that tire down.
Had been running inside the top 10, was running 7th at the time. Christopher Bell continues to lead. There's Rico up against the wall, making that contact.
I think that's when the tire went away. It was over then. He just had to tiptoe back to the pit. You can see Chase Briscoe racing hard there with Grant Enfinger. Enfinger's performing well again tonight, Kevin. It's been a great season for this young man.
And Enfinger is going by Briscoe right here. And Briscoe's going to go back by. But as you look at the lineup right here, we talk about, the dirt racers. Well, when you look at the front right here right now, we've got 4 dirt racers right up front that you would expect to be up there.
And as you look at the lap times, that time by 2/10 faster was Stuart Friesen than Christopher Bell. He's definitely coming, and that's giving Bell the idea he needs to move around on the racetrack. Check out the gas. Listen to him work this thing. Is that awesome or what?
Steering it with the throttle.
Yeah, that's what's happening right here is he's trying to steer the truck with the throttle. It's too tight on the entry to the corner, and he's trying to wrap that throttle up to make the back of the truck come around so that you can get it pointed in the right direction and get that thing to slide up off the corner. So it definitely looks like his truck is a little bit too tight, but he's trying to fix it with the throttle.
Like I was saying, Christopher Bell has moved to the top of turns 1 and 2. He knows that Stuart Friesen is coming, and he's trying to move his lane around, but Friesen is just faster right now.
More on Christopher Bell. Kenny?
Vince, in dirt racing, we call it mopping the track up. The 4 knows Christopher Bell. He knows that Stuart Friesen is fast on the bottom. Let's watch the 4. He goes to the bottom. He's changed his complete line, but the 4 of Bell is looking for grip. He knows he's in trouble. He's changing his groove. Here comes Stuart Friesen.
Yeah, Friesen restarted 6th. Made his way through fairly quickly to get to that 2nd spot, and now stalking Christopher Bell. And remember, Bell's vehicle has got some pretty significant damage on that right side, and Friesen is on the roll looking for the lead up top.
Look at that dive by Friesen.
For the lead, but not going to be able to make the move. Bell holds on for now.
In my opinion, I think that the only chance that Christopher Bell has to hold him off is to get up there on that cushion and just try to carry his momentum for the rest of the night.
And that's what you saw just there, Kevin.
Yeah.
He had run the bottom, but he saw Friesen get there, and Bell did just what you said. Tried to ring that top and hold off the charging Friesen.
And the only thing that could really change that as we go through the night is if he comes up on a lap car and Friesen is able to maneuver through the traffic better, or he makes a mistake and hits the wall. But Christopher Bell is like Kenny said, he's in protecting mode.
More on the 4 with Hermie.
Well, you guys are speaking of the experience of Christopher Bell. His spotter, Tony Hirschman, has just encouraged him to run his line, try to block the line of the 52. They want to try to force the 52 into a mistake. Now, obviously, Stuart Friesen has a lot of dirt racing experience, but not so much dirt racing experience in a truck. So they're hoping they can continue to run the line, frustrate the 52 of Friesen, and force him into a mistake. That may be the 4's only shot of holding him off.
Boy, it's a great battle right now, though.
And Hermie, you're seeing just that. Just like the experienced spotter is telling Bell. And what Kevin talked about earlier, get the guy to make a mistake. He knows there's a NASCAR win in his grasp. Make him mess up. But Friesen is up for the task.
To the front for the lead. Friesen, can he make it stick with lap traffic in front of him? Bell still working the top, but Friesen is there.
The fans here at Eldora, they know who's driving that 52 truck. It's a dirt racer. He's from Canada, and he's getting it done here.
Yeah, Stuart Friesen to the point.
And you look in front of him, the lap traffic is going to play a role in this and how they get through this lap traffic, where those trucks are. because those guys don't want to go a lap down, and they're all over the racetrack.
They are. You know, lap traffic on a pavement track, they can all go to the same spot, right? I mean, they can go low or they can go high, wherever the leaders want them to go, per se, to get out of the way. Hard to get out of the way here, right?
Well, you see Rico up there in the top groove. You see the 13 truck up in the top groove. So this might be where Friesen has a little bit of an advantage because he can maneuver a little bit better through traffic than the 4. But it all depends on how they shake out and slow him up in front of him. I believe the 4 is kind of locked to the top, Mike, in order to make the best time.
And he is, yeah, you're right. And I just see Friesen with so much versatility with how he's able to drive that truck all the way to the bottom and still make good time. He's been able to pull away from Christopher Bell in this traffic. But the way these guys are racing, 2, 3 wide, side by side into each other, I don't think we're going to get through without a caution.
Ty Dillon slowing on track. Right front tire down. And that might be the caution you just mentioned, and it is, Mike.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
So the caution is out for the 99 of Ty Dillon. Was having such a good run tonight. Been rock solid. Was running 4th.
I can't tell. Hell, you're going to change both right sides, right?
I can tell it's the right front.
I think it's right front. I don't know. Right here. Just have them both ready. You're going to have time.
That's optimistic. Things happen really fast here at this racetrack. But he gets those tires changed. He'll be a fun show to watch coming from the back. He's had a fast truck.
And I think Friesen has a decision here to make. After seeing Christopher Bell on that last restart, he started way down there in the wet mud. Kenny, what do you think?
Mikey, I think you're right. I think what I'm seeing is we underestimated these new Goodyear tires. Remember, Tony Stewart asked Goodyear to bring us a softer compound and a much more flexible sidewall. Stuart Friesen came in and put tires on, and we all said, oh, he ain't going to go anywhere. And I'm going to tell you what, we were all dead wrong. This new Goodyear tire is flying right now. Now, we will watch the 99 to see if it works for him.
Hey, Kenny, before you go back off, what do you think on this restart? Because we saw Christopher Bell start down there in the wet mud almost in the bottom and get a really good launch. What should Friesen do here on this restart, top or bottom?
You know, I think Stuart Friesen should be on the bottom. I want to brag on you for a minute. Kevin Harvick, you are one of the best in all of auto racing. It's staying smooth and hitting your marks. Here's what I see out of Stuart Friesen. He's got a groove down in 1 and 2. Stuart Friesen is exiting turn 2 so much faster than anybody right now, Harv. And I always thought that's what you were good at doing, especially at places like Martinsville. Stuart Friesen should restart on the bottom and hit that mark that I'm talking about. There's moisture off of turn 2, and my Lord, it shoots him out.
Well, he's had the top truck so far tonight, far and away. He's led the most laps, and he's got 30 to go to get his first ever Truck Series win. Midway through the final stage at Eldora, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's the Dirt Derby from the Big E, and it has been fun tonight. We have seen action everywhere, and Stuart Friesen bidding for his first ever Truck Series win. Not such good news for the 89 of Rico Abreu.
Behind the wall he goes. Looks like his night's over. Also, Justin Shipley in the 80. We talked about what a good run he was having. His truck is broken as well.
Great run, and I think you talked about maybe that shifting part of the night that we talked about might be hard on the transmissions. Well, apparently it might be hard on the engine too.
Yeah, he had smoke rolling out of the pipes, and they pushed it back to the pits. And Kenny Wallace thought maybe Friesen take the high side, get some of that fresh, moist mud in his tires would pay off. He's elected to go high.
Well, that's what he's done all night is on the top. So it was just an interesting perspective when you see Bell down there on the bottom in the wet, moist dirt down there. So we'll see how this works out, because what he's been doing is Friesen has been starting on the top, and he'll kind of diamond that and cut down to the bottom in turn 1. So if Bell's still there, where does he go then? All the way to the top, or keep it in the middle? We're about to find out.
And up to third, Grant Enfinger. He could be a factor. What's happening with the 4 truck?
We got to watch the 4. Christopher Bell says he thinks he has a flat right front tire. Let's wait and see.
And he's restarting on the front row, inside, back green. 25 to go at Eldora. Very slow start for Bell, and I think you're right, Herbie. Problems for that 4 truck.
Look at that wad of trucks.
Sinking like a rock. Bell goes backwards, and John Hunter Nemechek comes up to second, and Grant Infinger in that yellow truck, the yellow 98 inside for third, and the bright yellow 88 of Matt Crafton in fourth.
Where'd he come from? We talked about Crafton fading back outside the top 10, finds himself in the top 5.
And the caution is out. Cicerelli has gone around again.
Guys, I want you to look and see who's running in 5th right now. A guy that has had a really long day in Bobby Pierce.
Unbelievable.
He has worked his way. He was a lap down, if I'm not mistaken. He was a lap down, and now he is up to 6th. So apparently that new steering wheel is getting some work tonight.
Look how fresh it looks. But think about it, Kevin. We saw that team have to work on the truck after the qualifying race. He got into the outside wall. They had to work on the back end there. You can see the spoiler is nowhere near straight. They made those repairs. But then also, crew chief Rick Wren said, we made some changes to the truck.
And let me tell you something about Rick Wren. I'm sorry, Mikey. But let me tell you something about Rick Wren. When he was the crew chief for Hornaday, he would come and say, well, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. And you're like, man, it looked pretty good. Well, guess what? We're going to change this, we're going to change that. Next thing you know, you're like, what in the world are we doing? And then you're winning the race and beating them. And I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but that is very interesting that he's all the way back up inside 5th or 6th place here.
Yeah, and his
place.
adjustments he made when he went in the LCQ, he won the thing. So he did it again, Kevin. He did just what you said. He made changes and made things happen.
Well, issues for the 4, and that yellow couldn't have come at a better time for Christopher Bell, right? Kenny?
I'm going to tell you what, this is one of the biggest breaks of the race. We watched Kyle Larson last year do this. The caution comes out on the 4 when there's a flat. Are you kidding me? Christopher Bell going to put on new tires. Watch this show when he puts on those tires and goes to the front. And one more thing, complete carnage back here. I came back and look at all these wrecked trucks from earlier in the race.
Well, it'll be interesting to see when Bell does get that fresh edge, as Kenny referred to earlier, whether it's going to be enough to allow him to get up through the field in less than 20 laps.
I think John Hunter Nemechek was taking your advice. He was down there in that low groove getting some of that moist mud on those tires, trying to get it to hook up on this restart.
Get it to hook off and cool those tires off.
Hermie?
They go to work on the right side. Taking a look, see if they're going to look at any more of the damage, but no, they're not going to waste time with that. They're going to put just the right side tires on. We'll see if they go to the left side or just go with 2. He's standing away right now with 2 tires on the right side of this 4.
Well, on one hand, a tough break for Christopher Bell, who was running up at the toward the front, the top 2 or 3 at the time, but at the same time, a great break for him, because if it would have stayed green with that flat right front, then it would have, in all likelihood, ended his chances to win. So Bell will come from deep in the field, but at least he's going to have an opportunity to do it.
And they didn't want to look in there. There is nothing in there that they want to see with that right front suspension, because they have way overachieved tonight with that truck. So no matter what happens, bad luck, good luck, those guys have done a great job on that 4 truck.
You know, you said Vince's chances to win would have been over without that caution. This caution could mean he does win this race. He's got those fresh tires. We've seen them pay off for Stuart Friesen when he drove to the front. Can Bell take advantage of them?
Look at the shine on that racetrack. Pace vehicle is going to pull off. It's going to be Stuart Friesen on the outside and John Hunter Nemechek inside, bringing us back to green with a couple of teammates from Thorsport, Grant Infinger and Matt Crafton in row 2. Infinger dives to the inside, but Nemechek is there to cut it off.
Look at Matt Crafton running the high side. Is he going to get to second? Or is he going for first?
A gaggle on the bottom, including the 63 of Bobby Pierce. Friesen with the lead, but Crafton is right there. And here comes Nemechek in that green 8 to challenge. Contact between Haley and Infinger.
And I don't know if Matt Crafton has that thing in 3rd gear right now, but that thing is launching off the corners.
He's on the outside. He's going to get there. Matt Crafton's trying to turn around a dismal season, and he's charging to the front.
Christopher Bell back inside the top 10. Crafton for the lead on Friesen. Can he get it?
We heard Crafton say earlier when we interviewed him, when he's got to go to the top, he'll be ready to go there. He wanted to run where the other trucks weren't. Well, that's exactly how he got the lead. Now can he keep it?
Matt Crafton to the front. It's been more than a year since he's last won, and now with 16 to go, he's out front at Eldora. But here comes Friesen. Camping World, 15 to go, and the two-time series champ Matt Crafton is in the lead. Friesen is second, and John Hunter Nemechek third.
And Nemechek's heating up Friesen now.
And a caution is out. And we'll set the stage for another restart, and it's the 10 of Cicerelli again.
Mike, it sounds like they have two different motors when they come off the corner. But that 88 truck, he has saved that third gear, it sounds like to me, to use it here at the end. And that thing is just absolutely launching off the top of the corner about halfway down the straightaway.
And you see what he's doing here, as is Nemechek, just wanting to get that moist dirt on those tires, cool them off a little bit, and try to make sure you got the traction you need when it starts. I guarantee you Matt Crafton knows exactly what he's going to do, and that is start on the outside. That's how he got the lead, and I think that's how he's going to plan on keeping it. But look at all the trucks right now down there in that wet mud. So if everything's right, Kevin, just like any other aspect of dirt racing, it's the opposite of pavement. You want to get stuff on your tires here to make them stick better. On the pavement, you do everything you can to keep from getting any buildup on your tires.
Well, it's come down to a guy who is known for his asphalt racing, and a guy right behind him, and Friesen, who is known for his dirt racing. And then John Hunter Nemechek, I think we need to brag on him for a little bit, just for the fact that, you know, there was a point the first few races where I was like, man, what is wrong with this team? And then all of a sudden they turn it around, win a couple races, have all the momentum, and here they are on the dirt, contending for another win.
And let me give a shout out to Jeffrey Abbey. He's running along in the 6th spot. Jeffrey is 18 years old from Texas. He's going to attend Texas A&M this fall, going off to college. He's won over 60-some dirt races in the last 3 or 4 years down in Texas. He finds himself up in the top 10 in the 6th position. I like this story as well. He was parked right next to Schrader. Schrader's in his 60s, and the 18-year-old Abbey was asking anything he could from Schrader for advice.
Mikey, I'm down here. I can reach out and touch these guys. You know, there's a couple things you can do with these dirt cars. Us dirt racers really don't run these tires, but they're running down here. It seems like they're maybe trying to cool their tires off. In dirt racing, what we do is we try to sand our tires so they don't seal over. See, in dirt racing, when the tires get hot, it's like they seal over, like brake rotors do. You're trying to keep the tires biting. A couple different strategies out there. I really don't know what they're up to, but we do got wet dirt down here. They could be cooling them off. Me as a dirt racer, I like to make sure my right rear is always ready to go. So I think it's monkey see, monkey do right now. Hey, the leader's doing it, so we're all going to do it.
I couldn't agree with that more.
Let's just mix it up a little bit. Let's get down in the dirt, and then finally Crafton goes all the way out next to the wall for this restart. This is going to be fun. We're going to be 10 laps to go when we get the green, and anything can still happen. This is when the slide job might become the term that we use a lot over these next 10 laps. People not quite clear, but just taking advantage of other drivers.
Yeah, if Friesen gets a good start here, I think this is the time when you throw it out there, don't you, Mike?
Yes, you got that right. And look right behind him with our visor cam. Chase Briscoe has fought himself into position to win this race as well.
Yeah, Briscoe will restart in row 2, just on the outside there, just behind Matt Crafton. Coming to 10 to go. Stuart Friesen on the inside has never won a Truck Series race. It's been more than a year for Matt Crafton, and they are fighting at the front. Crafton to the lead, Briscoe in second, and Friesen now diving to the bottom.
Bobby Pierce around the outside, gets around John Hunter Nemechek. I love how this is a half-mile dirt track. Vince, but the finishes always remind me of Talladega. 3-4 wide, a pack of trucks just snarling at the front to try to get to victory lane.
Matt Crafton has been working on his dirt track racing. Went out, bought a modified, has been running more on the dirt, and it is paying off as he is out front with 8 to go here at Eldora.
How bad did he want to run good here at Eldora, Vince? He went out and bought a late model. He bought a dirt modified car to go race on the off weekends so he would be better prepared to race here at Eldora. He loved running the bottom, but he couldn't figure out the top. He got a dirt modified, figured out how to run all over the racetrack, and it's paying off.
And he is starting to gap. Second place, Chase Briscoe, and third place, Stuart Friesen.
And it appears to me they had done their homework before they came here, because they obviously had a plan. And you saw that when we interviewed him earlier in the day. He was like, he didn't want to talk about it much. He was pretty tight-lipped about it. And now you're seeing all of that come out to a really fast race truck. And I think we saw that in the qualifying races as well.
Great battle for second between Briscoe and Friesen.
Friesen had his groove go away a little bit. He started to slip and slide there, but I think it's coming back now. He's going to be able to get around Briscoe almost. Oh, he squeezes it.
5 to go here at Eldora. Remember, 2 of the 4 races we've had here at Eldora have gone overtime, so try to get every position you can. You don't know if we get a yellow here in the final laps that are going to force some extra laps, and you want to be in position to make a move and potentially win, just like Briscoe trying the crossover there on Friesen.
That was a beautiful crossover, Vince. Crafton's loving what he's seeing in his mirror, isn't he? These guys battling side by side, pulling the crossover on each other. He's just focused on what's out his front windshield. He was running around in third gear, shifting yesterday, doing things I didn't see any of the other competition doing, and he's making it pay off today.
When we talked about potential winners throughout the course of the day, Matt Crafton's name wasn't mentioned. Sure, he's been running better. He's been working extra on the dirt to try to get better, but never really saw him as a driver that was going to come out here and win this race. And now with a couple of laps to go, he's threatening to do it. 2 to go for Matt Crafton. It's been more than a year. Who would have thought that the drought would end on the dirt at Eldora, and he's getting close to doing it.
He's just hoping everybody keeps it straight for another half a lap. He can get this white flag and put this one in his rearview mirror.
It's amazing what happens when you put a champion's back up against the wall and you watch him come out and make a performance like this.
You got that right. This is a special team. He and Crew Chief Junior Joyner have a great relationship, and they're making it happen.
It's the final lap at Eldora, and while they battle for second and third behind him, no one is going to challenge Matt Crafton. The winless streak is over. It's been 27 races, and tonight he will go to victory lane, winning at the Big E.
Good work. Really good work. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
A big sigh of relief in that 88 cam as Matt Crafton wins for the first time in more than a year his 14th career win in the Truck Series. Fifth different winner in 5 races for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Eldora, and a big sigh of relief in that 88 cam.
That's awesome. Most important thing to him right now, Kevin, that is he has won at Eldora. He's going to get the golden shovel, but then it's going to sink in. We're getting ready to go race for a championship again. And these boys, this team, Junior Joyner, Matt Crafton, they know how to go championship racing.
Well, I've been there with my team, and you know, you get your back put up against the wall, and you have to start looking at the details and doing things and really concentrating on what you do yourself. It really brings out special moments, and I think that Matt Crafton and his team would categorize this as a special moment. To win at something that they felt like they needed to work on a lot and get to victory lane is a heck of an accomplishment.
Makes it maybe even more special considering the struggles and some of the frustrations that they've had.
Oh, I think the wait is definitely worth it when you win at a place you don't think you're supposed to win.
He did it. Matt Crafton wins at Eldora. The 7th different winner this season, Matt Crafton gets his first. A triumphant performance at Eldora. His first win in more than a year, and you better believe the ThorSport team is enjoying the fireworks tonight. Well, it was a heck of a night for Christopher Bell. They gave it a run. Good effort. He's with Kenny.
Good job, Noah. Christopher, last week for the Kings Royal, you came from 20th to 2nd. The fans were on their feet. You put on one hell of a show, buddy. What happened in the end?
Oh, well, first off, I got to say I ruined it for my guys, man. They gave me a great Tundra. I really felt like we had the truck to win there, but unfortunately I made a mistake early on that cost us. My guys worked really hard to get us going again, and then we got going really good, and the truck seemed like it was driving good enough. Like we had a lot of speed in it. Yeah, just miscalculated there on the spin. The lap before, I had a lot of grip up in the cushion, and it held me really good. So I tried to, tried to make speed up there, and was just a little bit too low, and the slick and spun out. But the flat tire really killed us. That just kind of wrote us off.
Buddy, it'll be all right, man. You won the Chili Bowl. You run 2nd to Kings Royal. Chris?
Well, Stuart Friesen led 87 laps tonight. And Stuart, we talked yesterday. You said you didn't feel like you had outright speed, but you had good long-run speed. Did you need something more than an 11-lap dash at the end?
Yeah. Palomar team was good. Our Chevy was great. We had a good long-run truck, and those guys just burping it there in 3rd gear kind of snookered us on that restart. And oh man, it stinks. We didn't come to run 2nd. That's for damn sure. But I'm proud of these guys, and it's cool. They knew we were here, and just didn't play out. Congrats to Matt, and he's been doing his homework running the dirt stuff, and racing there with Briscoe was pretty cool. So nothing to really hang our heads about, but still lost.
Thanks, Stuart. Hermie?
Matt Crafton climbing out of this Toyota in victory lane at Eldora. Matt, a lot of emotion for this victory, and you've won a lot of big races, won championships. Where does this win stack up for you?
My first dirt win. A lot of fun. In the second part of that race, we darn right just stunk. It was my fault. We over-tightened it on the first run. We were pretty good, and I thought we were a little bit too free. We tightened it up, and then we just went back to exactly where we started the race. And then Rico and them guys drove by me up top, and I'm like, Crafton, you got to put this thing on the fence down there. And I knew I was getting beat down there, and I found some in the middle over here in 1 and 2. And finally, at the end, I'm like, well, we're going to tear the right side off this thing or take it to victory lane.
It's been documented that you have done a lot more dirt racing into last year. Got in business, got a car, you and your dad having a ball, but how much did that help you coming down the stretch, knowing how to make that move to pass the 52?
Oh, yeah, it helped a lot. Just learning what the track does and seeing what spots on the racetrack. In the years past, I didn't know what I was looking at, to be totally honest. And just kept studying and had a lot of great people here. Nick Hoffman came here and helped me during the test, and they're telling me, go down here in the dirt and spin the tires. I'm like, why? But I started doing it, and this thing was just a rocket ship, this Toyota Tundra.
And what about this winless streak we've been talking about?
You can go, but where the sun don't shine.
That's Matt Crafton. He's in victory lane at Eldora.
That golden shovel may come in handy for that, right? There you go. Well done. Well, our playoff standings look like this. We've got another one in yellow, and that's Matt Crafton, who's added his name to the winners list with Christopher Bell, John Hunter Nemechek, Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, and Kaz Gralla. It is tight. Remember, 8 make the playoffs. And how about down there around 8, 9, and 10 as we move forward? It's a pretty tight race for that final playoff spot.
Kevin, how much of a relief is it knowing not only you won tonight, but they know now they are in the playoffs. They're going to go race for a championship.
Well, a team like that races for a championship and wins championships year after year, to be on that bubble puts a lot of pressure on the race team, not only from yourselves, but from the sponsors and the media and everybody around you. So it's definitely a pressure relief, and I can promise you right now, and they're going to go back and they're going to say, I told you we'd finally figure it out, and it makes things a lot smoother right up until the playoffs start again, and then that pressure ramps back up.
What a terrific effort tonight from a couple of guys that are going to walk away feeling like they didn't get anything out of it. Guys like Friesen and Briscoe, Infigure, John Hunter Nemechek in the top 5. Bobby Pierce came here hoping to win.
Well, I think you look at and listen to Christopher Bell's interview, and you hear him talk, and you hear how disappointed he is in himself. It was just one of those races that he expected to win.
And Ty Dillon, another one we can add to that list, who ended up 12th tonight. Well, it's a busy weekend in the NASCAR community at Indianapolis. The NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, and then on Sunday, NASCAR Race Day leading up to the Brickyard 400. Hey, thanks to all those at Fox Business Network for hosting us tonight, and thanks to all of you who found us on Fox Business Network. You are great fans, and we appreciate you. For our next Camping World Truck Series race, well, that's the 29th of July on Fox. We'll be at Pocono. That's it from here at Eldora. Stay tuned to the Fox Business Network for Lou Dobbs Tonight.